14 of the Knitted Cupcake podcast. It has been, I think, 3 weeks since I've seen all of you, and I am so sorry about that. Life has gotten in the way. I've been busy after work to where I'm not getting home until way late, or I'm out of town on the weekends when I'm typically podcasting, or I have people coming to see me on the weekends when I typically podcast. So excuses, but it's been a crazy 3 weeks, but I'm here. Oh, excuse me. And I'm ready to go. I'm Lacey. I am the host of this small podcast. And I want to say welcome. Welcome to any new viewers who are checking me out for the first time, and a big old welcome back and thank you to any of you returning viewers. I have been keeping an eye on the subscription count, and I forgot to mention last time, so I think that's probably why things haven't budged really, but I'm planning a pretty awesome giveaway at 250 subscribers, and we are at 218. So if you're liking, by the end of the episode, you haven't seen much of me yet. Maybe you decide you don't like me, I don't know. But if you decide you like this podcast and you want to continue watching, please hit the subscribe button down below, because as soon as we hit 250 subscribers, I will be doing a pretty sweet giveaway. I have a bag from the amazing Janine from the Yarn and You podcast that she donated to me, as well as a set of really amazing stitch markers from the Be Easy by LB Etsy shop. And possibly, no promises, but there might be a skein of yarn that I throw in there as well. So be sure to hit that subscribe button and then join the Ravelry group. Speaking of, where can you find me? You can find me most easily on Instagram. That's where I'm the most active. I've been busy these last few weeks and haven't been super active, but I am on there a lot, at least scrolling through and liking and commenting and messaging and that kind of a thing. So you can find me on Instagram as the.knitted.cupcake, as well as on Ravelry as WOU Knitter, all one word. And we also have a Ravelry group for the podcast, which is, if you search up in the groups tab in Ravelry and search the Knitted Cupcake podcast, we are right there with our cute little cupcake logo. So find me there. Those are my most active parts of social media. I am also on Snapchat, not super active there, but I'm there. So if you want to check me out, I am on Snapchat as Knitted Cupcake. Just Knitted Cupcake. So yeah, welcome. It is Monday, May 1st. Happy May Day. It is about 5 in the evening here in the Great Pacific Northwest. It's kind of a gray day out today, so we'll see what the lighting does, but considering it's beginning dark later, I should not be racing the sun on this podcast. Fingers crossed. Yeah, let's start this. What am I drinking? Okay, I have a pretty awesome little brother, and I think I showed this off last podcast, but I have a new Washington, D.C. You Are Here mug. And in here I am drinking some Good Earth sweet and spicy tea, and if you are a Good Earth drinker, you know that every tea tag has a little quote on it, and this one kind of surprised me as far as who said it, but it is, "Tomorrow is the first blank page of a 365-page book. Write a good one," as quoted from or by Brad Paisley, of all people. So thank you, Brad Paisley, for that little bit of insight. So true. We are wrapping up this day, but I'm hoping that this podcast will be going live first thing tomorrow morning, May 2nd. So let this day be a great day. So yeah, that's what I'm drinking on today. I literally just made it, so it's not really quite brewed strong enough, and it's really hot. So yeah. Let's talk briefly, again, just briefly, what's running in my diffuser today. I knew that I needed a little boost, a little kick, a little bit of focus, helping me get this podcast rolling. It's been so long. I'm thrown off of my groove. Many of you podcasters out there are familiar with those feelings when you take a longer hiatus than normal. And so I needed something to just kind of get me back into it. So this is a focus blend that my awesome yarny nitty friend Megan, who I'll talk a little bit more about later in this podcast, recommended to me on Facebook. I put out a call for a focus blend as I had my grad school interview last week. I haven't heard anything yet, so it's still up in the air what's going on next year, but she recommended this blend or something similar to this blend so that I could run while I was doing my phone interview, and it was pretty awesome. I liked it, so I wanted to use it again today. So I'll give you that recipe. For those of you who don't know, I use doTERRA brand oils, and so sometimes I use premix blends that I'm not entirely sure what that equates to in other brands. If you message me on any of those social medias that I told you about, I might be able to find what equivalent it is on whatever brand of oils you do use. So first up, I used 3 drops of Balance, and this is one of my favorite smells. It is a mix of spruce, leaf oil, hoe wood, frankincense, blue tansy, blue chamomile, and it has some fractionated coconut oil in it. It just smells very outdoorsy, woodsy, reminds me of summer camp. I love it. To me, it's a very grounding, soothing blend. It helps calm my nerves and anxiety and feelings of anxiousness. Next up, I have 2 drops of lavender, which is also very calming and soothing. To add on to the woodsy scent, there are 2 drops of cedarwood in here as well, which I actually find more on the energizing and invigorating. That kind of give me the go juice that I was looking for. And then just a great earthy smell is 1 drop of frankincense, which this is a very precious oil. Those of you who are versed in scripture, that kind of a thing, it's a holy oil, but to me, again, very earthy, and all of those just help ground me in what I'm doing and give me some focus. So that's what I have running in my diffuser today, and so thank you, Megan, for that awesome blend, because it is a favorite of mine now. She used actually, oh goodness, she used something that was in here. Oh goodness. She recommended something else that I didn't have just the single oil of, but I had it in the blend, but I don't see it in that blend, so maybe I'm not right. Maybe I'm incorrect, but she recommended something else. Was it the blue chamomile maybe? Or the Roman chamomile? I can't remember, but she recommended something else that I didn't have. Oh, vetiver. That's what it was. I thought vetiver was in here. Maybe I'm not right. But vetiver is another earthy, kind of smells like wet dirt and grass. It's odd, but I really like it. But again, another one of those earthy smells. So since I didn't have vetiver, I substituted the Balance for it. So yeah. Let's kick this off with some finish objects. Considering it's been 3 weeks since I've podcasted, I don't feel like I've gotten that much done, but a lot of my time and attention has gone towards one project, which you will see in whips. And if you've been following me on Instagram, you've gotten some sneak peeks of, but you haven't seen it in its entirety yet. But let's start off with what finished objects I do have. And first off, which I finished these just in the nick of time. I Kitchenered the toes, the last toe on these socks yesterday, so they were eligible for all of my April sock knit-alongs, are my speckled dragon egg socks. And if you've been watching for a while, you will remember, or maybe not, I don't know, that this yarn was gifted to me by the amazing Sarah from the Hooks and Books podcast. We miss you and we hope that things are going better for you soon. So you are loved, girl, know that. Anyway, she gifted this yarn to me a while back, and this is the Speckled Dragon Eggs pattern by Amy Meeks, and then the Speckled Dragon Egg yarn from Dragon Horde Yarn, who is Tristan from the Girls from the Yarn Cafe podcast. And her Etsy is Fingers of Fury. She's all over the place, all the different names. And this is the Debbie color. So it's a neutral base with lots of bright, fun, just about kicked the camera, speckles in there. I love the heel flap in here. Again, as you may or may not know with me, I am not the biggest fan of heel flaps and gussets just because for me, I feel like they take so long. But I loved that I've never done a 2-color heel flap and gusset before, and so I really wanted, let's see if I can give a good look at that. I wanted to give that a go, and I am really happy I did that and didn't just short the pattern and do a fish lips kiss heel like I thought about doing. I really enjoyed this pattern. I kept wanting to do just one more row of eggs, which helped me get quite a bit done in one weekend. I think I was down here and I got almost all the way. I think I had 1 or 2 more eggs to add before I got, I don't know if you can see those eggs very well. There you go. Before I got to the toe. So when I focus on them, they went pretty quickly. The yarn, I don't know, I don't think she's carrying this exact base anymore. But they did get a new sock weight base in that they said is a higher twist, and I'm saying they because her and her mom Christy from Yarn Cafe Creations, they both use the same company to get their blank yarn from, and so both of them have switched over to now a higher twist sock yarn. I can't remember if it's a 75-25 or an 80-20, but they said that their new base is just as soft, a little plumper, a little denser yarn because of that high twist. So if it's just as soft as this is, but a little plumper and denser, I'm really, really intrigued and want to try it. So there may be a purchase from one of those, if not both of those ladies' shops here in the future. Maybe an early birthday present for me. We shall see. So those are my official April socks, and those are done. The only other finished objects I have for you are washcloths. These I've decided, since those were my April socks and they were patterned, they weren't so easy to carry around with me in my purse like I like to do. So I started doing some washcloths, and these are going to be hard to kind of see the texture on. But it's just a textured dishcloth pattern. If you're interested, I can write it up and put it on Ravelry, but it's no big deal. Everybody has their favorite. And I will say my favorite cotton dishcloth yarn is the Knit Picks Dishy. It's softer than like the peaches and cream and the sugar and cream. It's a little finer weight. It's not so heavy. And it's also, what's the word? It's softer on my hands. I feel cotton doesn't give, and so it's hard on my hands anyway, but that one, for whatever reason, is just nicer on my hands. So I got 5 of those done over the last couple weeks, just hanging out in my purse, and so they'll make good birthday presents, Christmas presents. I've got Teacher Appreciation Week coming up this week, so those may go to some teachers as teacher gifts. So yeah, there's that. But that's it. I do have one kind of hoe-ish thing, and I couldn't find it, but you saw the beginning of it last week, or the last time I podcast, and it is my Afterthought Everything sock that I'm doing in the rainbow opal yarn. I have the tube done. I haven't cut it apart yet. I haven't done anything with it other than knit the tube, cast on, and bind off. So I have ribbing on each end and a tube, and I've decided they're going to be kind of shorty socks, which I'm okay with. Spring is here, summer is coming, you need shorty socks. So once I get those further along and even cut apart or whatever, and I find them, that's the problem, I couldn't find them today to show them. I will show them to you when I find them next. So that's about it as far as foes and hoes. Foes and hoes, foes and hoes. Goes. Yeah. Next up, we'll get into whips. And I'm kind of excited because there's something here and it's sitting in front of me and it's so pretty, and I kind of want to just tease you with it because it's just, oh look, it's in my hand, you can't see it. Sorry, my phone is buzzing. it's fun and I've loved it. And it's what's been occupying my time over the last 3 weeks. I got this yarn in the mail, I think the day or two after I podcasted last, and immediately cast on. I think I got it on a Wednesday and cast on like that moment. So I am working, and at one point I learned how to pronounce the name of this correctly. However, my Japanese is not up to par or up to snuff or very good, or God, my family is so sarcastic. I'm sorry. So does anybody else on a full-on text group with their family? Because I am, and I come from a very sarcastic, sassy family. I love them to death. My dad and my brothers and my mom. My mom is probably the least sassy of us all, but my dad and my brothers are always good. And today being May 1st and May Day, I'm not sure about where else in the world, but in Seattle there's always big May Day protests. It sounds like there are some in Portland, and so my dad notified us all that there are a full-scale riot in Portland, and my snarky older brother, they run out of organic free-range chicken eggs. So there's just a little taste into my family's world and our group text messages. They're just always funny. But I am the free-range organic egg eater in the family, so I take mild offense to that. But I don't dare tell them that. Anyway, moving on. So the whip that I was going to tell you about before I was so rudely interrupted by my family text is my Hido Food, and I know that's incorrect, but whatever, my Hido Food cardigan by Hiroko Fukatsu. I really apologize. But again, as always, all of this will be down here below for you to see. And this is being knit out of 3 different Knit Pick Stroll gradients. As soon as I saw these gradients, and as soon as I realized, oh my gosh, I can get one gradient to go into another gradient to go into another gradient, I need to make this cardigan. So I started, and I have it. And I don't think I've ever been like more happy with a thing in my life. Yeah, that's it. So what you are missing is down here at the bottom, I'm starting to get into that bright purple. So this is the back of the cardigan. Isn't it fun? I'm so excited about this, guys. I am gonna try and scoot back because I kind of want to try it on because I can. So you can kind of see how it's gonna fit. Let's see if I can not pull stitches off my needles every time I try this without supervision. Stitches come off the needles, but I think I'm okay. So this is a cardigan that is knit in one piece. The word Hido Food in Japanese means one single brush stroke, and this is not gonna look good with the shirt that I'm wearing, but I don't really care. I've got yarn everywhere. I'm tangled up, but as you can kind of see, it has, so this is where I started with this dark kind of navy, which then transitioned into this lighter purple, and then my skirt is stuck. Oh gosh, I don't know how well you're gonna see this, but yeah. And then into the orange, and then I'll separate the skeins, but I am 2 full skeins and into my 3rd and final skein so far on this. So yeah, I can kind of see how far down my back it goes so far. I freaking love this. I could not be happier. The fact that this is all done in one piece, and the only thing that I have to weave in is going to be my beginning end, where I join my new skeins of yarn, and then my final end. I don't have to seam anything up, nothing. And it fits me quite nicely. It's gonna block out and have a little more room in the sleeves. That lace work is just gonna open up and be phenomenal. I freaking love it. So yeah, this is what, ooh, earthquake. I am so sorry. Let's see if I can take it off now. This is where things get tricky. this is what's been occupying all of my time, aside from last weekend. Last weekend I went down to Oregon to visit the boyfriend, and that's when I realized, crap, I have to get those dragon egg socks done. So I worked on those all weekend rather than my cardigan. However, for like 2.5, almost 3 weeks of work, I'm pretty impressed with myself. I mean, these are, so this is my third skein. You can see I'm working on it. My coworker and I have been calling them sushi rolls. But there's almost 460 yards per skein, and I'm into my third skein now. So I think that is a lot of knitting for one, you know, for the amount of time I've done it in. So let's talk about this. So like I said, I am using I need more space here. 3 different gradients. So I started with this, the first skein is called a hologram, and it went from this navy to this light kind of periwinkle to like a pinky lavender into this really bright orange, which I was really hesitant about at first because orange is not my gig. But the fact that it just runs across the back and like the back underside of my arm and not at my face, I'm okay with that. And so then I picked up my second skein, which was Lifeguard, and started at this dark orange. And so it is more of a drastic line, but I tried to blend them together, alternating rows and skeins for a little bit, and then it just striped and it didn't work at all because these first few colors did kind of block out. And I think that's mainly because I was working with a wide piece of fabric. Now, if I was doing something more narrow, I think it would have been a more subtle blend of colors. So take that into consideration when you're looking at this yarn, is that the wider the fabric you create, the more harsh of a line it will be between the colors. But it's okay with me. I'm not super annoyed by it. So Lifeguard went from this dark orange, and that's what wraps around the top and the neck. And I do like that contrast between the navy and this darker reddy orange. So started with darker reddy orange, went into this kind of raspberry, strawberry pink, into a darker version of that, and then into a more solid black. My final skein is called Velvet Painting, and it picked up where the black starts to speckle out and has a lot more white in it. And then it pops into this bright kind of grapey purple. It's like a royal grapey purple, which is really fun. I don't feel like that's a color that you see often in yarn for whatever reason. Maybe it's hard to dye, maybe it's difficult to be color fast. I'm not entirely sure. I will say when I first got these skeins, one of them, and I can't remember which one it was, but it smelled pretty highly of vinegar. So you can tell that they really tried to set these colors. I'll be curious to see what happens when I soak them and block them, how much color rinses out and how long it'll take me to rinse it clear. Anyway, like I said, my final skein is Velvet Painting. So it goes from that bright purple back into kind of this darker raspberry color. So it ties those in, and the purple ties in with the purple at the beginning, and then the very end will be this brighter pop of purpley, almost like a neon purple it reminds me of. So this is definitely a bright, wild, crazy, super colorful cardigan, but for me, perfect for those spring and summer months when I need something in those air-conditioned buildings but want something bright and happy. So I'm really excited to get it done. I'm really excited to wear it. I cannot believe how far I am on it. So, yay for new cast-ons and getting really far on them. I think that's all I wanted to say. Oh, I am knitting the size large. I'm bad, and I didn't really take a gauge. I just kind of jumped in and prayed that it worked. But I do have a person I knit with who made one previously, and she had wished that she had made hers at least a size or 2 up, just because she tried one on that was that much bigger, and it was really roomy and comfy. And so I thought, you know what, I'm not a tight knitter, so if anything, this is going to be slightly larger, and I'll be okay with that. And with the amount of yarn I have, I think I'll be able to make it considerably longer as well, which is what I want. So stay tuned in future episodes to see how that's coming along. Are you adjusted yet? So again, oh, I did research. And again, if you've been with me for a while, you know that my camera that I work with shuts off every 10 minutes, right? I have discovered it has to do with the fact that I'm filming in HD. You never see it in HD just because my computer doesn't process it in HD. But I'd rather go from a larger size file and shrink it down. I think that's better quality. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. If I'm wrong and you're techie and you know that, correct me. Let me know. But it's because I'm filming in HD, it can only process so big of a file. And so it's not that it shuts off every 10 minutes, it shuts off every gig used, I guess, to then process that bit. I don't know. But I realize it's not because I have a defective camera, and that's makes me feel a little better. Anyway, every time I restart it, the light totally blows me out, so I have to wait for it to refocus. Or not. Sometimes I don't, and it just figures it out. Anyway, next up on my needles, you will probably recognize this yarn from last time, and realize that that's not what I showed you last time. Because there's a funny story. So if you remember, I last episode was trucking along on my Bradley Beach tee, and my needles are clinking because I'm fussing, I'm sorry. And that was all I worked on really over spring break. Was really excited. I was gonna get it done so I could then cast on my cardigan that I knew the yarn was coming. Well, immediately after I podcast, I was uploading things to my computer, letting the video process into iMovie. I decided, you know what? Let me throw in another set of needles on this shirt and just kind of check the size and the fit, see what's going on. Well, I'll try to put in some pictures because it was awful. Guys, I could fit 2 of me in it. It had turned out that big. I knew my gauge was off. I knew I wasn't getting enough stitches per inch, but I thought that I had sized down appropriately to fix it, and it's very apparent in these pictures. Why not? Because it looks like I'm in a weight loss commercial. Guys, it looks like I lost half of my body weight, and I have not. It'd be great. Actually, no, I'd be very unhealthy and very sick if I lost half my body weight. But, oh my God, it was so big. And I checked my gauge from the more recent rows that I did, and then it was even looser. So it just got worse as I went along. So I ripped it all out. All of it had to go. And then I was really frustrated with that pattern because I knew that to get gauged and to get the right size, I'd have to go down a needle size, at least one, and I didn't want to do that to that fabric because I wanted it light and airy. So I've started something new. So being knit out of my Barocco Fuji, which I'll remind you looks like this, and it is a 38% silk, 25% cotton, 22% rayon, and 15% nylon. And it's about a worsted weight. I am now knitting the Cascade, and this is a pattern by Marie Wallen. I am attempting the size large. I need to do some measuring. Again, I'm bad. I didn't gauge. I hate doing gauge swatches, and who was I watching earlier? I was watching somebody earlier and I totally agree. Gauge swatches, they lie. You cannot tell what the final gauge of a garment is going to be out of a 4x4 square of fabric. As you knit along on your garment, your knitting changes. It loosens up, it tightens depending on the stitch, depending on how much weight is now on, you know, how much the fabric itself weighs. And so gauge swatches, they lie. They're a good baseline if you're a horribly off knitter. If you generally have to size down 2 or 3 needle sizes, great, fine. Make a gauge. But I am pretty standard. I like to think I have a little more of a standard gauge. If not, I knit a little on the loose end. So if I'm between 2 sizes, I'll just size down knowing that I'll knit a little looser and it should fit me okay. So yeah, I'm done gauge swatching for a while. Yeah. So what I'm considering this piece here to be my gauge swatch. So the Cascade top, I don't know, I'll try to put a picture in. I probably won't. Is a open, lacy, oh, that was a giant raveny crow thing that landed on the trail there, top. And so this is the bottom back panel. I'm not very far, but I will say knitting pieces flat versus in the round gives me the chance to actually, at this point, only a couple inches in, it gives me the chance to measure it and see how wide it is. So this I think is supposed to be right now like 24.5 inches wide. And I don't have my measuring tape with me, but what I am planning on doing is laying it out. And if I have to stretch it to get to that length or that width, perfect. If it's already over by an inch or 2, we're scrapping it and we're going down another size because, yeah, I guess in this yarn, I just struggle getting gauge and I just knit looser. And maybe it's because it is the silk and the cotton, there's no give to it. I don't know, but I have the yarn. I have a garment's worth, so damn it, I'm gonna make something out of it. So yeah. I'm not very far. Like I said, I think I just started this yesterday. And I'm just a couple sections in. This first section was really confusing at first. I didn't really like it. But now that I see what it looks like finished, I do like it. But I mean, it's wide, but it's supposed to be kind of a boxy top. I think my size will be okay, but like I said, when I'm done here, I will measure it and we will double check and we will make sure. And if I have to rip a couple inches out and start over with that, fine. But yeah, so that's being knit out of Barocco Fuji in color 9427. There are no fun names, unfortunately, but it's a very pretty teal color and I'm a fan, hence why I bought it. Next up is my purse project, living in my purse project bag, in my little project bag that I made from the Hue Loco tutorial, my tiny little thing. And it is another dishcloth, but this I decided I want to do something different. And I wanted to do some mosaic knitting, which there was an awesome mosaic knitting pattern on Ravelry, but I can't find it anywhere online now. It was on like ball bands of like some Bernat cotton yarn and I think some sugar and cream, and any of the links to find it online anywhere, it just doesn't exist. So I had to go with this one. So this pattern is called the Checker Square Garter Dishcloth by Kayla K. And it is quite a bit larger than I typically make my dishcloths. Here is, like, my normal size fits in this guy. Like, this is as tall as I make my washcloths and considerably longer. So I went direct by the pattern, cast on exactly how many stitches. It is a free pattern, by the way, and it is creating this really cool mosaic look. Again, this is being knit out of Knit Picks Dishy. The pink is blush and the gray is silver. And it's just coming along. It took me a while to get into the pattern. I had to read every single row what I was supposed to be doing, which was kind of frustrating for a purse project. But now that I'm into it, I can read the knitting and know exactly what I need to be doing with what color. And so if you've never done mosaic knitting before, I think this qualifies at it because I'm working garter in every row, and to get the kind of square checkered pattern, it's combining slip stitches and you're only knitting with one color at a time. I believe this qualifies as mosaic knitting, but I could be wrong. Let me know. But yeah, it's just a fun pattern. I don't know if I would necessarily use this on dishes. Maybe this is one, it is about the size of a standard washcloth. I think it'll be about 10 inches by 10 inches. So I think this would be really pretty to have as like a bathroom set. You can really see that pattern on camera. I'm quite impressed with that because I just, as I was knitting, I was like, well, maybe there just isn't enough contrast between the gray and the pink. Anyway, if you wanted to make it smaller, I suppose I can go down to needle size, but I kind of wanted to, for whatever reason, when I was doing my dishcloths, I wanted to use the one single straight needle that I had. That's the back side. You can kind of see the pattern on the back side as well. Not as well, because they're all just purl ridges. But anyway, that is my purse project. And I think it would be fun. We'll see if I have enough yarn, because I'd use this yarn for other, obviously I had pink dishcloths, and at Christmas time I made at least one of these silver in just a solid color. But I think it'd be fun to do one in reverse to where it's primarily pink with the gray contrast. But I may not have enough of this yarn. I may have to start with 2 complete skeins to do a matching pair like that. But yeah. And that is about it as far as whips and everything I'm working on, which is really surprising. That cardigan has definitely got me in a monogamous knitting mode, which I kind of needed in my life. We shall move on to some acquisitions now. I've been pretty good. I haven't bought a ton of yarn. I bought, obviously my gradients are a new acquisition since you saw me last. I also have some of them just acrylic. I'm doing some golf club covers for a friend to give to his friend. So I have some acrylic from Knit Picks to make those out of. I should probably get going on those, huh? But yeah. The first one, ooh, we'll save the best for last. So there's a little quilt shop in Oregon where I go to visit my boyfriend, and they do sell some yarn. And they have a really fantastic selection of Patons Croy. They have a lot of colors that I've not seen elsewhere, which makes it fun to go into. So while I was there, I picked up these lovely skeins. And this is a Paton Croy socks in the Mexicala stripes. And I was thinking Mexicala, Cinco de Mayo, May socks. Yes. So these are definitely going to get cast on and will probably take the place of the washcloths as my purse knitting, because I'm going to do these plain old vanilla. I didn't even check dye lots. These look different. Uh-oh. They are. No! Crumb. Oh, they're so different dye lots. I can even feel like in how they're skeined up. Crap, I hope they stripe the same. Maybe they're just going to be wild random striping then. I'm not even going to try to make this match. Anyway, so to go with those, I got some no, this is Regia. So they do have a little bit of Regia as well, in just a solid black for some contrasting, at least heels, if not cuffs and toes, or just toes. We'll see. And I think I'm going to use these in my opal socks as well, as just a nice, whew, sorry, so loud. That was a bottle of oil, cedar wood, not dumping over, but falling over. But yeah. So that was my purchase down in Oregon. Now my other purchase, I am so excited about this. So previously, I had mentioned my friend Megan, because she was the one who helped me out with the diffuser blend that I've got running today. Well, she has started dyeing yarn now. Ah! And I got this. I just can't contain it. So her yarn company is Little Fish Stitches. Again, I'm gonna have everything down below for you. And this was the first repeatable colorway she came up with. And she took a vote on Instagram and people decided that it should be called Meet Me in Tahiti. And guys, this yarn is this the first time I've unskeined it? Possibly, I don't know. But look at those colors. Don't blow out on me now. Look at that. It's like sunsets, and then we have ocean, and then we've got more sunsets and tropical flowers, and it seriously is such a cool skein of yarn. I love this. I love it, I love it, I love it. Thank you, Megan. So, if you are into new indie dyers and new bits of yarn, oh my gosh, I'm gonna make a mess out of this. I'm obviously not a dyer because I don't know how to skein things. I saw Stacy from Stress Knits do that the other day when she was skeining. So I thought, hey, maybe that'll work for me too. I think it did. Go check her out. Again, I'll probably link her down in the doobly-doo below. Go check out her shop. She has really cool project bags as well, and I think she may be coming out with a new to her anyway style of project bag. Sorry, Megan, if I'm wrong and I'm telling people lies about you. But yes, go check her out and support her, because she's not just someone that I know through the knitting community, but she is a real life person. A person I know in real life. We hail from the same hometown, went to church together, and she is amazing. So yes, this is Meet Me in Tahiti, and it is a 75/25, but quite soft. So there are 462 yards on here. And I kind of botched your skein job, Megan. I really am sorry, but again, I want to be cool. Apparently I can't. Look at that. How cool is that, guys? I love it. I absolutely, absolutely, absolutely love it. Go check her out. There are 2 more things that I need to talk about on this podcast. First up, I have a giveaway. I totally almost forgot about it. So we're gonna go on right now. So last week, you know what I mean, last time I podcast, I had mentioned the amazing Jen Sheelan had offered me up a copy of her Little Miss Chelsea Bean shawl, offered up a pattern as a giveaway. And so I opened up a thread in the Ravelry group and asked you guys to share about your fur babies. And if you don't have a fur if you don't have a fur baby of your own, tell me about what fur baby you want in your life. So we had 11 posts. Sorry, text message threads blowing up. We had a total of 11 posts, including mine, so 10 people posted and shared their fur babies. I'm really sorry, I need to get to the group before I ask the magical question. Okay, so I'm gonna ask Siri to give me a number between 1 and 11, and then I will announce live on the podcast who won the pattern from Jen Sheelan. Pick a number between 2 and 11.
2.
How cool is that? The very first person. I always hate being the first person because I feel like it never picks. So there you go. That may not focus, but it says 2, and it said 2. So let's go find out who that is. The very first person to post is J. Kareen. Let's find out. Who are you? Do you have a name? Who is Juliana from Portland? Oh, you're in the Northwest. Hey girl, that's really exciting. I love having a local winner. So you, my dear, have won the Little Miss Chelsea Bean shawl pattern, and I will contact Jen and she will send that straight to you, I hope. So keep an eye out on your Ravelry mail because that will be there. And Jen said, and I'm going to share what you said just because it's public, it's in the Ravelry group. Hello, I'm currently finishing up college, so the only fur babies that I have are back at home. My future fur baby will hopefully be an Australian Shepherd. Yeah, girl. I love how speckled they can be and the blue eyes that they can have. I guess this is fur baby goals. Yes, I love a good Australian Shepherd. They're one of my absolute favorite breeds. So I hope one day that fur baby goal gets to happen for you. So congratulations. Again, I'm double checking your name because I don't want to say it. Juliana. Yay! I love giving things. It's so much fun. Okay, anyway, putting that down now. The next thing I want to talk about is really, really exciting. So, as I've mentioned before, I'm part of a group with some very lovely and amazing podcasters, and we do virtual knit nights, and we have a text message thread going together, and it's just, they've become some pretty awesome friends, and I love it. And I think Lynn from the Sunshine and Bubblegum podcast was mentioning how she wanted to do a summer top, like a garment knit along, and a lot of us were like, yeah, let's do it all together. And so we have decided, rather than having 5 individual threads and running in all of our podcasts and being confusing, we decided to create a group where everything can be central, where you can find the rules in one place, you can find the chatter in one place, and you can find the FO thread in one place. And so we have come up with the name of Slow Ass Knitters. So if you look it up, and I'm gonna put it all down here because the naughty word, oh my God, is spelled with $signs. So search that up in the Ravelry groups tab. And okay, if you're joining that group, you have to join my podcast group too, because it already has more members than we have, which is really exciting and really fun. So again, Slow Ass Knitters, ass is with $signs. It's a group on Ravelry. There are, I think, 6 of us who are admins for this group. Go ahead and stop by, introduce yourself, and we also have a Cal running now. And so today is the first day of the Cal, and it's the summer tops. Whips are totally allowed as long as they are no more than 50% done as of today. And it is running from today, May 1st, all the way through July 31st. There's talk that it may extend beyond that, but the date as of now is July 31st. You do not have to consider yourself a slow ass knitter to join in this group. That's been a question that a few people have asked, and absolutely not. I don't think of myself as a slow knitter, but I am looking forward a couple months, and I know that summer I get really busy, and with the potential of going back to grad school full-time and working full-time, my knitting time is gonna go from this to this. And so projects for me are gonna get done a lot slower. So my speed at which I knit, not necessarily slow. Am I the fastest? No, but no, you don't have to be a slow knitter to get involved with this group. There are, including myself, 5 different podcasters hosting this. So go in, be active in the chatter thread, because each one of us, I believe, are going to be drawing monthly prizes from the chatter thread. And so for me personally, I'm going to be going through the chatter thread and picking one random person. I may do random number generator, or I may pick just a funny comment or someone who's been really active. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But once a month between now and the end of the Cal, I will be picking one person a month to win either a pattern of their choice or my choice, depending how I'm feeling that day. So go in, jump into the chatter thread. There's already a lot of people throwing around pattern ideas, yarn ideas. We have a bundle up that is constantly being added to. Pull inspiration from there. And then at the end, in the finished object thread, which will be a no chatter thread, each one of us podcasters will pick like a grand prize from the finished object thread. So you have 5 chances to win a grand prize, and you don't have to hunt through all of our podcasts necessarily to find that. I will say for the chatter thread prizes, I'm just going to pull from the chatter thread, and since it's a pattern, I will contact you and say, hey, you've won a pattern of your choice, or surprise, you won a pattern and I picked it for you. So you don't necessarily have to be a watcher or subscriber to my podcast to win one of those. However, for the finished object thread, we do want you guys to be watching our podcasts. So if you want to win a finished object prize, be sure that you are subscribed to each one of our podcast channels, and come the beginning of August when we draw for those prizes, stay tuned in the podcast so you can find out if you won. So the podcasters that are hosting this are myself. It is Lynn from the Sunshine and Bubblegum podcast, Candy from the Pause for Stitches podcast, Jenny of the Lucky Jenny Knits podcast, and Amy from Amy's Knotted Knits. So come on, join the group, join the chatter. It's already really active. It's been a lot of fun to see everybody's ideas. I haven't posted much, but my other fellow admins have been doing a great job at responding to questions and encouraging that kind of talk. So I hope to see you guys there. Yay for slow ass knitters. And there's a hashtag too. Hashtag SAKSKAL17. Duh! And a graphic. Okay, so now that I've talked about the really exciting new group for multi-podcasters and the cows that we've got going. Oh, one more thing I want to add about that. We are hoping to have seasonal cows. So this is our Slow Ass Knitter summer cow. We're hoping to do one come fall, winter, spring, yearly, and let that be a... Oh my gosh, what is the word I'm thinking of? A thing. An annual thing. I had thing right. Anyway, so that kind of wraps it up for me. We can go into a bit of chat. I'm not good at this chatter business. I don't think I lead a pretty boring life, guys. I don't have kids. My boyfriend lives in a different state. Spring break has come and gone, and I told you all about that one. So I don't know. Yeah. A whole lot of nothing. I don't know about grad school yet. That is my life right now. That's what's consuming my brain. I am really excited. I was asked to do a test knit for a pair of socks for Janine, and I'm not even going to try to say the name because I can't think of it right now. But Janine from the Yarning You Girl podcast. So I'm hoping by the end of this month I will have 2 completed pairs of socks. That test knit as well as my Mexicala. It was horribly offensive, I'm sure. I'm so sorry. So tired. It is now 10 to 6 and I'm hungry and I need to go to the grocery store still and get stuff for lunches because I didn't go grocery shopping this weekend because the boyfriend was up, who still doesn't know I podcast. Oh my God, Lacey, when are you gonna tell him? I know all of you are screaming at me right now. Tell him. I don't know how. It's been too long now. It's like when somebody is calling you the wrong name and they call you it for like a month, and every time they see you, they just call you, hey, Lindsay, what's up? And it's just too much time has gone by to correct them. Too much time has gone by. How do I tell them, hey, babe, back in October, November, no, September even? Beginning of October, maybe September. I can't remember. But way back when, 14 episodes ago, I started this podcast thing. I don't know. I'm a bad human. I'm not lying. I just haven't found out a way to tell him yet. Oh, I'm such a dork. Such a nerd. Anyway, I think with that, and I'm kind of beating on myself, I'm going to sign off for the night. So remember, if you liked the craziness that I that you experienced with this podcast. Be sure to hit the like button because that lets other people in the YouTube realm know that I exist. Be sure to subscribe. I need to be done. Be sure to subscribe. Again, at 250 subscribers, I will be doing a really awesome giveaway, and that will happen in the Ravelry group. So you're gonna want to be a member there too. So go ahead and head over to both places, subscribe there, join there, and it'll be a party. Yeah. And if I wasn't your cup of tea, you lasted this long, I'm quite impressed. But if I wasn't your cup of tea, go ahead and move right along. There are plenty of other podcasts out there. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your week. It is only Monday here. And I will see you all later. Happy knitting.